So on the note of what can you do for the life science industry, I will welcome Mats, CEO of Bioworks, on stage, and he will take us through a very interesting company in a phase where they're really gaining traction on the market. And Mats has done a tremendous job on getting the right talent to work and scale the sales engine. Please take it away.
Thank you, Herman. So we are not a pharmaceutical company, and we are not a biopharmaceutical company. However, we supply the biopharmaceutical companies with key technology to be able to purify their considerably large molecules, which then becomes a drug for them. So we are a supplier to that industry, and we are that with a technology base, an agarose-based chromatography media. We talk about small particles that are, in our version, 40 micron, 100 micron, or 200 micron large. They're very porous. They have a very large surface for its volume. And the idea is that these beads can collect as much of our customers' key molecules as possible in shortest possible time. We talk about production efficiency. So the main product we have are the work beads that is mentioned up there. These beads are put into a column. We have 2 column products for the lab work. However, our target is to get these beads into production in large columns in the production of these biopharmaceuticals. That's where the big volumes and the big values are for our customers and for us. Looking at the area, it's a large area. We talk about above 20 billion crowns in value. We as a company started out in a professional manner, you could say, in 2013, 2014. And started to supply them products in the market. We made the IPO in December last year, and it was heavily oversubscribed, about 9 times. A key part of that IPO was that during last year, we got in a key investor from Korea, from South Korea, called Amikogen. So they now own almost 10% of the company, and they are a key collaborator to us. In one technology area, and I will come back to that. We are 29 employees presently. We have now more than 200 customers buying from us, and we have had a rather quick increase of number of new customers during this year. And you can see here that the speed of acquisitions of new customers is increasing in a good way during this year. We have a number of quite well-known customers all over the world, and we have spent more time this year than adding customers in the US and in Asia. The main market, the main sales for us is still in Europe, and I will come back to that a little bit later on. Our production facility we have in Uppsala. All our activities are in Uppsala in the company, except then for the sales activities, of course. Our present production facility, we have the ability to produce for 150 million in product value. We can, with the reasonable small investment, double that. So small investments and, of course, more people than to produce more. As I mentioned, we have had a very nice increase of customers. Our sales half year increased with 24%. Customer growth up to now, down to the end of September, is 93%. We had an ambition this year to increase the number of customers with 75%, but we have clearly passed that. So we have quite recently, done on Monday, published that the goal for this year is plus 124%, which would mean 235 customers by the end of the year. The whole idea for us as a company is to get the products in the research phase in the industry, be part of their scale-up process and get into production of their products. So we become part of their pharmaceutical projects. So the main part of our sales is in quite early in the projects, in the research phase, or possibly in the early scale-up phase, and then we follow their projects into production. So if they are successful, we will be successful. We have also, during this year, opened a sales office in the US to get better traction there. And I think we opened that office in March. And from June, I think we are starting to get reasonable traction, and we will improve that traction going forward. We have today 4 clients in full production. One of these clients is producing an FDA-approved drug. So we have that proof. It's a very important proof for us to watch this discussion with other customers. We have today 45 clients in different types of scale-up, early scale-up to late scale-up. Is that all I was going to say here? Yeah, and we have just this week then officially launched our Protein A product, and that is a product that we have worked together with Amico again to put together, and I will come back to that later on in the presentation. Our customer base is nothing strange really, but the main customers are the pharmaceutical and biotech companies. More and more we see that the CDMOs, CROs are also becoming more important customers. So we have some of our scale-up projects are together with them. Then of course universities and research institutes are also of interest, but it's not the main priority. So in principle, we try to spend as little sales rep time with them and try to reach them through other means. We talk distributors and also the website. We have, I mean, the R&D side is quite important still. It's 35% of the total market. However, it's a lot of customers, and it's quite costly to reach them if you can't reach them via the web or distributors. Today we have customers in these countries all over the world. What we see is that not only the Western world that used to produce these type of products, pharmaceutical products, also the Asian companies and countries are coming in more and more. So we see the quickest growth, you could say, in the Asian countries. So coming back to the key in our sales process, getting into the lab phase, we spend a lot of our sales rep time there or in the early scale-up phase, and then work with the customers into the production phase. This is how it looked by the end of last year. We had 70% of the clients in lab scale and about 30% in scale-up. But you can look at the turnover. I mean, it's more than reversed. 95% was in the scale-up and only 5% in the lab phase. Then looking at how it looks today, we have 2% of the clients in production. They are 73% of the turnover. So it's really important to get into the production phase. That's where we get the volume, that's where we get the value and also the profit. So what kind of customers do we have in production scale? What I mentioned before is the FDA customer. The customer with an FDA-approved drug. They have, you could say, a mid-level of volume at the moment, but we expect that company to come with more projects using our products, but also to scale up this particular process where we have the FDA-approved drug. Then we have a European vaccine producer, and then we have 2 producers of biomolecules for other purposes. We talk about food additives and cosmetics where these type of molecules are being used. And then we have 45 clients in different parts of scale-up. Looking at the 45 customers in different parts of scale-up, The main part of those are pharma companies, small and big pharma companies, and also to some extent biotech companies. So the majority of these 45 companies are there. And it's also a clear sign of the focus we've had the last 1.5 years regarding new customers is that to the pharmaceutical industry and the biotech industry. We also have a limited number of CMOs, and diagnostic companies as scale-up customers. Now coming in the protein A area, that is an area where we, towards the pharmaceutical industry, have not been present before. So this is a new market segment for us. It's a 4 billion Swedish crown segment growing with about 8% per year. And it's about, the value of this is about then 4 million Swedish crowns, but half of these biopharmaceuticals are antibodies and are being produced by protein-based chromatography media. So this is a very important product area for us. What we have done is we have taken our beads, we have optimized them for this specific purpose. We have connected that bead to the protein A molecules being produced, developed and produced by Amicogen. And it's a unique protein A, patented by them. And together we have developed in record time, I would say, less than 15 months, a product that is clearly much better than the present standard in that market. And I will show some data in the next slide here. So if you look at these diagrams here, the blue curve is our product, and for production efficiency, it's critical to be able to collect as much of the target antibody as possible in as short time as possible. It's quite common to want to run at about have a residence time of about 2.5, and that's where we have the maximum distance to the main competitor. So we are about 10% units better than them in collecting the number of proteins that are important. And we keep that advantage all across, even if they have a longer residence time. But the customers would like to basically be as quickly running their columns as possible. Our beads are also much more defined. They are smaller, which gives better resolution, better purity, and it's also then better efficiency. So you have more surface per volume, you could say. So that is part of our advantage here. The beads are also giving a rather low back pressure, so you can run in the whole range here with less pressure than 1 bar. And maybe one of the most important advantages here, compared to the main competitors again, when you run these production cycles, after each cycle you have to clean the column. And that is a must in the production process. And we start at a higher level of collection of the protein, and even after 120 cycles, we are still better than our main competitor when they start using a new product. So here we have a key advantage when it comes to lifetime of the column compared to the main competitor. So we have started the sales process. We have had the contact with customers since the summer. We have 2 key events this week, actually, one in the US and one in Europe. But we try to make the knowledge about the product available in different ways. So ads, exhibitions, social media, articles. We argue for our key advantages connected to these data. And then the next step is to get the samples of our new product out in the market. We are building a list, so I have started to deliver samples to customers. Our first aim is to have a list of 50 customers, and we are well on the way there. And of course, then in the tests that the customers are doing, we expect them to get similar data. Of course, each molecule is different and unique, but we expect them to get similar data as we have here, and in that way get them to add us as their technology platform, to add us into the next project. This is a short milestone chart we showed at the IPO in the prospect, and we are taking these activities off step by step, quarter by quarter. I wouldn't say that we are exactly on time with everything, but we are roughly on time. And so we are coming into the fourth quarter here, and we will focus more and more on building the sales strength, optimizing that, and adding resources, in particular in North America going forward and going into 2019. Thank you.